So there's two things to talk about, and one of them is actually the change in scenery, but this is just gonna be for this one video. And the second thing is, I just finished watching Mortal Kombat, the new one, and I did not like it. That movie was garbage, and I'm gonna talk more about it right after this. What's up, fellas? I'm Henry, and today we're going to be reviewing Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat is a movie directed by Simon McQueen. This is his directorial debut. And me not liking this movie, it's not his fault. I am not going to blame him. The person I'm going to blame, you already know, it's Bugs Bunny. Right?
What's up, guys?
So Bugs Bunny. So this is what you do. You go to, and it's not just you, Mickey Mouse is also guilty of this as well. So you go get new, like, up and coming directors, and you use them as kind of like scapegoats. So if a movie sucked like this, usually film critics would just put all their hatred towards the director. Don't get me wrong, the director does deserve some form of responsibility for making a bad movie. However, these main decisions were also made by you, Bugs Bunny. It's just that some of these decisions, it literally blows my mind for how bad this movie was. I'm speechless. I really don't know what to talk about in regards to this film. I guess we could just start off with the storyline. Like, storyline, that's a joke. Like, there was literally, like, what was the story? I am gonna go into spoilers, but I'll be later on in this video. I am not going to do a spoiler video for this movie. This movie does not deserve it. This movie was so bad, and there's nothing in the story. Nothing much happened. Nothing really changed. Literally, you start at one point, and then when it ends, it's still at the same point. Yes, you go on like an adventure, but there was no arc. It was dumb. However, on the flip side, there were some arcs for some characters, and for that, if you were to bring those arguments to me, I'll understand it. But for me, that's not enough. Especially a film that's an hour and 50 minutes, I was bored. And that tell you something about the story. I was bored. I did not care about any of these characters. I did not care about what was going on. I didn't really care. You don't really care about these characters. The only reason the studios expect you to care is because of the name. But just because they have the name doesn't make them the same character. And what this comes down to is just lazy writing, lazy storytelling, where they just like, oh, we already expect them to know, so we're not even going to be creative. And going back to the 1995 Mortal Kombat, I mean, that was a product of its time. It was just a 90s action film, and yet it still had, again, some people might say, like, you know, it's terrible. For me, it's campy. But me personally, I enjoy it. A smile comes from my face every time I think of several scenes. It's something that I enjoy, and I don't get bored watching it. Yeah, the storyline frustrates me the most. We meet a character who is named Cole Young, which is not a character in the games. I'm like, and you don't even know his name until like 30 minutes in the movie, and they say Cole Young. I literally had to go and Google, who is Cole Young part of the games? I'm like, no, he's not. He was just a made-up character. I'm like, oh, okay. We could have like learned about this new world through his eyes, but no. They jump around between different characters, and it just feels so abrupt. Like, Cole Young is supposed to be our protagonist, but then out of nowhere, Kano has more scenes than Cole Young. He has more lines delivery than Cole Young. So for a second, I'm like, wait, so we're following more Kano than Cole Young. We didn't really care much about him. This movie it felt really boring, and the editing, I think that is something that a lot of people are also going to talk about. The editing, wow, was the editing so bad. You know, for like the action scenes where you're supposed to feel the punch, get into it, I kid you not, every 3 seconds, it will cut. Like, when it's an action sequence, it's like, you literally, I was so bored. I literally just started counting how many times until they cut. I had to find some form of engagement. So it would literally be 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, cut. Then 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, cut. It was just so bad of how, like, they just don't hold a shot. And there are few shots where they hold, but edited so miserably, especially in the middle. Like when when we finally get to somewhat of a tournament, which I'm gonna get to that also, which is, I'm like, are you kidding me? So there's like 2 fights, and then they'll cut it, and they'll put the cuts in between each other. Like from one shot, you're showing one fight, and then there's another fight that's going on at the same time, and then it cuts to a different shot. And then 3 seconds, and then it cuts to this other one, and then it cuts to another one. I'm like, what? Can you at least show me one fight, and then after that show me the next fight, so I could get invested and be like, whoa, I could get into the action? The story was bad. The editing was bad. The acting, oh my god. Cole Young, I mean, It was bad. Like I said, I didn't feel anything he said. Anytime he was speaking, I just didn't feel anything. But at the same time, you'll have actors who just like would overact a little, like essentially Kano. I feel like I liked him in some scenes, but then he just became too annoying. Like his jokes were just not funny. I'm just like, I got sick and tired of him. And the music was, I'm like, this is music that I honestly speaking, I already forgot about the music. And I think that alone is the interpretation of this film. I forgot about the movie. I literally just watched it 2 hours ago, and I completely forgot about the movie. I still know some scenes because if I didn't wrote down the scenes, if I wasn't taking notes as I was watching this movie, I'd be like, no, hombre, bro, I don't know what's going on with this film, man. I'm like bored. I'm sleeping. I'm falling asleep. This is just so bad. This is a movie. When I saw the trailer, I was somewhat excited. And this part is like the nail in the coffin for me for why I really don't like this movie. It's Mortal Kombat. It's a tournament where you could like, you see action, but you at least understand the rules and know who fights who next. This one, a tournament. You gotta be kidding. There was no tournament. But also, you get aggravated because like you just don't care now. When like I don't know what's going on, so therefore I'm just not gonna care. And for me, and this is something you guys are gonna learn about me. For me, I'm a sucker for tournaments. I love tournaments. I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Mortal Kombat, the game. I love like any form of entertainment where it has tournaments. Like me, I'm a sucker for tournament.
This simply will not do. The competitors in the tournament will be much tougher than this big oaf. Goku, please show up. I've got something I want to share with you.
Because in a tournament, there's this level of prestige of when the person wins, this person is obviously the best of the best. But this movie, wow, this movie. The action was terrible. The song, forgettable. I didn't really care about any of these characters. The acting was forgetful. The action scenes, you get confused. There's only like 1 or 2 characters, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Okay, those were probably the only 2 I'm like, alright. But everyone else, and also they made Sonya look super weak towards the beginning. Like she looked like everyone ignoring her. I'm like, oh, wow. Are you kidding me, man? Sonya, a badass woman who has to literally, she could like beat people up and not.
Sonya wins.
But now she's like getting pushed to the side and being treated like, you know, like she's not even a part of the tournament. I'm like, are you kidding me, guys?
Don't ever shut up.
You're welcome to stay with us, Miss Blade, but the training area is for the chosen ones. Oh,
fucking whoops. Oh, hang on. We wouldn't be here without her. She's one of us.
A fighter without a marking can never achieve their arcana, and a fighter without an arcana is a liability to the others.
Yeah, liability.
And you see, that's the problem. Sonya would have never walked away. Sonya would have never taken that crap. What she could have done is one of 2 things. One, she could have attacked Kano, and they could have like a 2 or 3 minute match. But we already seen that earlier in the movie. So what she should have done is attack, or not attack, but challenge Kung Lao to a match, to a sparring match.
Friendly fight, yes?
Fight to win, or don't fight at all.
You are strong like stone, Sonya.
Round 1. Fight.
And give them 2 to 3 minutes. Have the actors give good choreography and don't screw it up with the editing. And literally give us a match between these 2 characters. Of course, Kung Lao will have to win because this is kind of like his introduction. So therefore, he must win because if he loses, it will make him look too weak. So if he wins, but at the same time have Sonya stand her ground or put up one hell of a match to where she earns the respect of Kung Lao, and instead of just like literally be on the sideline, she actually starts training with the other characters of Liu Kang and Cole Young. Instead of, no, Sonya, you can't fight because you don't have the mark, and also because you're
I don't know. I would not put it past Bugs Bunny if they literally did not want her to fight because she was a girl and girls can't fight. So I would not put it past Bugs Bunny to do something that dumb. Which is really dumb because Sonya is known to be a fearless character, and that would have been awesome if we would have seen it in this movie. She, instead of walking away, she would have held her gun. She said, "I want to try challenge you, Kung Lao," and they would have fought. Kung Lao would obviously won, but there would have been a great match, and she would have earned the respect because of her fearlessness, and that would have been her character arc, where she's fearless, but she still doesn't have the skill set, and therefore in the sequel, she'll develop the skill sets in order to win matches, and that would have been really, really awesome. But no, this is what we got.
I'm on, Lonnie. Alright, guys, little less of this.
Man, this movie is just so bad, and the worst thing is that it's super forgetful. You are not going to remember this movie, and if you do, then your memory is like that of an elephant, man. You can remember so much. But me, I'm sorry, I don't remember this movie. It's boring. I probably will never watch this movie ever again. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give Mortal Kombat an F. It was bad. This movie was super bad, and I'm gonna get into the spoilers. This is gonna be the spoiler sections. You guys have been warned. The first thing I want to talk about is the intro, and is the beginning of when Scorpion and he was with his family, and his family was murdered by Sub-Zero. Like that first part, I'm like, okay, I kind of liked it, but again, when that first action, I'm like, oh my god, I hope it's just this one action sequence where the editing is bad. But no, it was the entire movie. But still, I like the idea of how there's building feuds even before the tournament begins. But I just hate how it's literally Sub-Zero's OP as hell, man. This guy is he's trying to fight. He's fighting everybody by himself, and they kill Scorpion. Apparently he's dead. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So there's no Scorpion in the tournament. You can't have Mortal Kombat without Scorpion. Crap, what is going on here? The next person I want to talk about is Kano, and I mean, again, when I saw this with somebody else, they were not surprised when Kano he literally betrayed our heroes. I don't care, because at that point I was already getting annoyed by him. Oh, I hope he dies. Christ, go away, dude. Yeah, so Kano was just there. He was obviously there to be the comedic, but again, it could get annoying when your comedic character just overplays it. Like I said, I don't really remember much, and I don't really care much about it. I mean, I guess the next thing is Kung Lao. He's dead. They killed him off. I'm like, so Scorpion's dead, now Kung Lao's dead? Oh, I don't care. Guru, Guru was a joke. He was just there for a minute. He was only there for 2 minutes, and they kill him off as well. I'm like, oh my, at least the Guru in the 1995 Mortal Kombat, he was a threat, and he was menacing, and I like this theme from the wow, you could definitely tell this guy is he knows how to fight.
You immortal will be no problem. I'll crush him in one blow.
Alright. Let's dance.
But no, the Guru here, you barely see him. You see him, but you don't. He's not he's not in the movie for long. He's just there, just to say hi and then die. That's pretty much it. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the ending. Cole Young was fighting Sub-Zero, because apparently, Cole Young is a descendant of Scorpion. So I guess he's gonna be the new Scorpion. All right. So he was fighting Sub-Zero, and apparently, because also in the beginning of the movie, Cole Young is kind of like an MMA fighter. And he got his butt kicked in a cage. And guess where the last fight happened? Yeah, it was Cole Young versus Sub-Zero in a cage, in an octagon. The same one where he lost in the first one. So as soon as I saw the octagon cage, I'm like, oh, he's gonna win. You know, it's not good when you could predict it. It's no fun when you can predict it. And it could be fun when you can predict something that's unpredictable. But when you can predict it and you're like, oh wait, if they go that route, it's boring, then it's not fun. So then also Scorpion came back and they killed Sub-Zero, and there was a nice touching moment. I'm like, I did not care. If there's gonna even have plans for making a sequel, I hope they don't. This movie was terrible. I don't recommend you guys don't watch this movie. Go watch a true good movie, a classic movies from back then. those are good movies. You go back to watch the 1995 Mortal Kombat, get some cheesy, campy vibes from the 90s. Other than that, guys, I still stick to my grade. This is an F movie. It's a horrible movie. Don't watch it. And this movie is ugly. Out of the good, bad, and ugly, this movie is just terrible, ugly. It's nasty. Don't look at it. Don't watch it. Stay away from it. And that's pretty much it for me on this video, guys. I'll see you on the next one, cause we're out of here.
Flawless victory.